All right, let's go to involve. The first one is watch for loners. The second one is pair the strong with the weak. And the fourth one is celebrate small victories. All right? They're all on the screen. We'll do them again. And involve, watch for loners, pair strong with the weak, and celebrate small victories. Let's talk just a minute about watch for loners. Some of you were loners once. If we were to break this group up, which we're going to do in just a few minutes, you're going to find that some of you are not quite as outspoken as the other leaders. Some of you are a little bit more shy. How many of you people would describe you as a shy person? Raise your hand. Yep, some of you? Okay. Okay, don't believe that, and don't believe that. All right? No, but you know what I mean. Some of you would come across as a shy person. And I want you to realize that, of course, you're going to be in the zone when Teens Conference comes and you'll be leading and you won't be the shy person anymore. But there'll be someone within your team who is the shy one. And I want you to make sure that you do whatever you can to make sure that person is having an involved experience with your particular team. Have you ever heard anybody say, I want you to lead by what? Lead by, right. What happens, because you're the leader, people are going to be looking to you anyway. They watch what you do. They watch how you behave. It was described once to me that leaders constantly live in something called a glass house. Have you heard this analogy before? That if you're living in a glass house, everything you do to the passerbyers is visible to them. And so as you're living in this glass house, you can't necessarily see and understand. Maybe you can't hear the fact that people will say, oh, he's the leader and he just cut in line. Or she's the leader and, whatever, you fill in the blank after that. Well, not only do they watch and follow the negative things, but they definitely will watch and follow the positive things. So if they see you identifying the loner, then someone else will say, man, that must be a pretty cool thing to do because my leader's doing it, so I'm going to follow. Look at Phil, finding the loner. I'm going to follow the loner, right? And so if Phil's the leader, I'm going to do that, right? So what I want you to do is make sure that there are no loners in your team, all right? Which goes right into number 2, pair the weak with the strong. You're going to identify quickly those people in your group who are the most outgoing, who are positive people, who know how to care for others. So make sure that you make the connection between the two of them. That's key. If you want everyone's experience to be as good as your experience at Teens Conference, you're part of the success of that. And then, of course, on C, celebrate small victories. You know, all of us have been to youth events before, and you remember that Friday night or that Saturday night service that is really meaningful and powerful, and everyone talks about that particular event when you get back home. But the times that I've spent at camps and the times that I've spent in youth ministry, I find that people take note of small victories that are celebrated. I had a kid, I offered a free ski trip to the person who could bring the most people to something we called a lawn party. We had this big party out on the lawn out beside our church. And this student brought 15 students. 15 students to it. So Stacy Terry got she got a free ski trip for that event, and most of her friends kept coming. But that night I said, Stacy, thanks for all that you did to get your friends here. That was great. Thank you so much for what you've done. But I also want to celebrate somebody else tonight. And so I asked little Josh Cobb to come up to the stage. And so here's little Josh Cobb. He's about this big. And I said, Josh, I want to ask you a question. How many friends did you bring tonight? And he was, just out of grade 6. And he said, I brought 5. Just like that. You know how you talked just a few years ago. Talk now, Henry? Okay, good. Right. All right. I was just making sure it was still there. So he said, I brought 5 friends. And that was great. And I said, well, Josh, first of all, thanks so much for bringing your 5. I'm sorry I can't give you a free ski trip. But I did want to ask you one other question, Josh. How many people did you invite? 117! Just like that. It was like that. And he had told me when he got there that night, he said, you better be expecting a lot because I invited 117 of my friends. And I said, you're lying. You don't even have 117 friends. What are you talking about? No, I'm sorry, I did. So, no, but here's what happened. So what he did was he showed me evidence that he had done it by showing me the email that he had sent out to all of these kids that were in a club in his school. So here's the thing. We celebrated a small victory of Josh's that night that didn't turn out to be the one that won the prize, but it was a small victory of the fact that this kid, and you know what? That kid became the one who invited tons and tons of people from then on. And so celebrate some small victories that are happening in your teams. Maybe you'll see that one person found a place in the Bible before anybody else in your team. Just acknowledge that. It doesn't have to be a lot. You don't have to give them a trophy or a ribbon. You just say, man, it looks like you've been hanging out in your Bible some. Great job on finding Jonah first, or wherever it is in the Bible that they found that.